So I'm super excited to be here with you guys today. I'm very proud of our PTA program, and Kelly from Financial Aid and Dr. Patterson, whose name I probably mentioned both those names to you moving forward. So Derek, what is the next slide? Oh, Central Penn's mission statement. Prepare future professional practitioners in the fields of human services through innovative application of knowledge, scholarship, and hands-on education. So go ahead. So this program is an associate's degree in PTA, physical therapist assistant. A lot of you that I'm working with are starting in July. The program starts twice a year at the Summerdale campus. It starts in July and January. So for those of you working with me for July, all your items are due April 1st, and we'll verify what all that is moving forward. And we do accept a maximum of 30 people into the PTA program. And I'll talk about the requirements a little bit in a minute. So very important to us, accreditation. Central Penn College is accredited by the Middle States Commission on Higher Education. That's pretty typical of most colleges in the Central PA area. Our physical therapist assistant program is accredited by CAPTE. So CAPTE oversees kind of our rules and regulations, make sure we're doing everything the way we should. And they also oversee that national certification exam. And with this program, you do need to graduate, take your boards and pass them, get your license in order to be a PTA. So the program here takes about 18 months plus an internship. It can be shortened depending on how many credits you transfer in. You have to transfer in at least 24 credits. You can shorten the program to a year plus an internship. And I think everyone here is pretty much set on the Summerdale campus, but we do have a Lancaster Center. That program starts once a year in January. That's a part-time evening program, and it does take 2 years to complete regardless of what you would transfer in. Because it's part-time, what you transfer in lightens your load, but it does not shorten the program. So why people love Central Penn? Lots of reasons. First off, what I want you guys to know is that we do go to school all year round. So looking at your starting in July, I keep forgetting it's like March, almost March already. It's crazy. So we're going to start in July. We go 11-week terms with 2-week breaks in between. So you'll start in July, you'll go 11 weeks, then you have a 2-week break. Then you come back and it's your second term, it's another 11-week term with brand new classes, and then another 2-week break, etc., the whole way through until you graduate. Class is Tuesday through Friday, so there's no class on Mondays. I mean, Dr. Patterson, you can just mention later, I don't know if there's any Mondays where they might have an observation or anything like that moving forward. We can talk about that later, but in general, Tuesday through Friday, PTA classes run between 8 and 3. Doesn't necessarily mean you're in class that entire time from 8 to 3, but that's when they run. And some gen ed classes, if you have to take them, could possibly go up until about 4:30. So it talks about in general here, the student to faculty ratio at Central Penn is 15:1, but I did mention that we accept a maximum of 30 into the PTA program. So the most that you would have in your class would be 30. The PTA students, like they're awesome. I was just down, and Nicole, this is kind of for you. I saw the first termers. They literally started 8 weeks ago, and finally I saw them today. And they always seem to be conglomerated in groups. Like it's a tight knit crew. So they're down there, and I can tell they're studying for something. I'm like, oh, what do you guys got going on? We have our first competency tomorrow. So you're gonna find, even if it's a group of 30, it gets like a tight-knit, like great camaraderie within a program. So everyone will know you, your classmates, your professors. You're not going to be sitting in the back somewhere and no one knowing that you're there. This talks about, on the PowerPoint, it talks about online and in-person classes. With the program that you're doing, everything is in person. So I know it's going to come up with COVID, because I still have people asking me, like, is everything in person? Things are still in person. right now. Dr. Patterson can maybe talk a little bit more. They maybe had to make some adjustments and things like that because we have certain rules that we need to follow, but all your hands-on PTA classes are still in person in a safe manner and following all the proper COVID rules. Very hands-on. We do have free housing right now. Free housing means free room and board. You would still pay for your utilities and a meal plan. But if that's something that anyone wants more information about, we can talk about that. Mentioned transferring credits in. If anyone hasn't done this yet, you would make sure that you got me all of your college transcripts and we would see what gen ed credits could transfer in. The entire PTA program is 79 credits. 8 of that is internship. And you can transfer in a maximum of 30 gen ed credits. We do have tons of clubs and activities. We have sports, lots of stuff to do around campus. And then what's also pretty important is academic support. So we have a learning center with tutoring options. There is a tutor for anatomy and physiology. And I know things are a little different now with COVID. And before I would see the tutor kind of pulling people into the lab like, hey, we're studying. It's not like, oh, I'm failing A&P, so I better go study. It's kind of like, let's do this in a proactive manner. You can get help with writing an essay, looking over things for you, so support there. We have a counselor on campus. We have our awesome Tom Palmieri, and that could be things if like for stress, anxiety, need someone to talk to. For PTA, you'll be assigned a faculty advisor throughout the program. All of our professors are either PTAs or doctors of physical therapy. Some of them still work in the industry as they're teaching, so very good, like hands-on knowledge. And we also have a student success center that they can help you with like registering for classes and things like that too. We track graduate success at Central Penn. It's very important to us. We're very career focused, as I mentioned back in the mission. Our most recent statistics, 90.6% of our graduates had either gone on to further their education or had gotten a position in their industry. So we do have a career services center that they can assist you with, writing a resume or, I have an interview coming up. And you also get some of that in class as well, but career service is very important. And those services with helping find a job are also available after you graduate. So the admissions process, so what you would have to do with me is fill out your application. You would do a campus interview that's either with me, on the phone, in person. And I did want to mention this earlier. Being here today counts as your campus interview. So some of you received an email from me with a little sheet to fill out that answers questions. If you did not receive that to me, that just means you and I already did an interview. So some of you were already in, or we talked on the phone and things like that. So if you did not get that interview sheet from me, you're fine. If you did get that, if you could please just fill that out and email it back to me. And this is counting as your campus interview. So you also need to submit all your transcripts. If you had college, everything on your college transcripts is what's used for acceptance. So even if you have college, you still have to submit your high school transcript. It's not really used for acceptance purposes if you have college, but it is something that due to our accreditation, we need to have on file. So regardless, we need your high school transcript. So one thing that is actually, observation hours and reference letters. So 2 letters of recommendation. Basically, anyone who's not family that can attest to your character and why they think you would be a good fit for the program. Those are normally typed up in Microsoft Word and just emailed directly to me as an attachment. And then the all-important observation hours. So 20 observation hours, 2 different sites, approximately 10 hours each site. So you need to do a total of 20 observation hours and at least 2 sites. And yes, I know it's going to come up. What if I can't observe because of COVID? And we've had Dr. Patterson over the last year varying like the offices are letting people observe. They're not letting people observe. What are your thoughts on that right now? I saw you unmuted yourself, so.
It should be getting a little bit easier right now. Most area clinics, they've been open the entire time. It was just a matter of letting sort of unnecessary personnel in.
Yeah.
But patient loads are starting to pick back up again. It's starting to kind of come back around a little bit. So I think it should be getting a little bit easier to get observation hours, but if anyone's having any trouble finding anything, just let us know.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I've had a couple people email me individually. I have been getting a lot more observation hours in. I'm finding that hospital type environments are still kind of the ones that are, they're kind of saying no. So if you have any trouble, like Dr. Patterson said, just let me know and we'll figure that out. So after you complete all those items, they're turned into me by April 1st. I won't let the deadline go by. Believe me, you guys have probably already been getting emails from me saying, hey, deadline's coming up soon, please do this. And I still need this from you. But after you do all those items by April 1st, you'll do a faculty interview and an essay. So we've been doing these on Zoom over the past year, and I would assume, Dr. Patterson, we probably stick with that again. Maybe this term will take
probably this time. I'm hoping soon we can get back to real actual in-person interviews, but I would guess probably this time we'll do virtual.
Probably still on Zoom this time. That's what I would have thought. So you'll meet probably via Zoom, one-on-one with a professor. They're going to chat with you about why you want to be a PTA and ask you a few questions. And then you're going to write a brief essay on a certain topic. Number 5, interview and essay, you do not do ahead of time. So you will wait until I give you a date and tell you the instructions for that. After all those items are complete, all those scores go into a rubric, and that's how the top 30 are figured out. So then people always say, well, what if I'm not in the top 30? What do I do? Well, if by chance you're not, if you receive a certain score on your rubric, then you would go on a waiting list. If someone decides not to take their seat or to do the program, then we would work our way down the waiting list to the next people. And Lisa, are there any questions to address right now, or do you want to wait? I didn't look at the chat.
Not yet. We're going to wait till the end. Okay,
awesome. So thank you guys. And Kelly Fox is going to talk about financial aid a little bit.
Thank you, Amy. So for those of you looking at either this summer for July 21 or January, which would be winter of 22, you would be completing the 21-22 FAFSA form using you and, if applicable, your parents' 2019 taxes. And what that does, it helps us determine your eligibility for grants, for student loans, and work study eligibility. So once that's completed, I will do your course mapping once you have been accepted to the school. So we try and get all of the documentation done now so that once you are accepted, we can move pretty quickly on figuring out what you're looking at cost-wise. We also have a lot of scholarships on our website. So if you go to centralpenn.edu and you click on the scholarships, you will see they're all criteria based. So if you meet the criteria, you simply have to submit the actual essay. It gets reviewed by 3 different departments, and then I would let you know if you qualify for any of the scholarships, and we would add that to your financial aid package. So starting now, this is a great time to be applying for scholarships. Even if you're not sure you're attending, you're not sure what your plans are, they are due March 15th. So apply now for the scholarships. Once you are accepted, then I will work through the course mapping with you. So I will work to put all the numbers together for you. You'll complete the financial aid forms. I'll get that out to you. And then we will work together with your families to determine how to cover the remaining balance, whether that's through our monthly payment plan, whether it's through loans your parents can borrow, or alternative loans that you can borrow with any creditworthy cosigner. So the key is getting your information in now so that once we know in April if you've been accepted, I can get that information out to you pretty quickly so you can work on paying deposits and covering remaining balances for the program. And I'm going to turn it over now to Dr. Patterson.
Sorry, I had to unmute. Thank you, Kelly. Yeah, so I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about the PTA program itself. So what a PTA is, and hopefully most of you know this and this is why you want to do it. We work with people to sort of maximize their quality of life. We work with people of all ages, so from tiny little babies all the way up to the elderly and pretty much everyone in between, which is one of the reasons I love therapy, because there's always a lot of variety. We can also work in a lot of different settings and really just help people come back from injury, illness, disease, anything that's sort of keeping them from doing what they want to be able to do, especially on a physical level. So we can help manage chronic conditions and just, again, help people get to where they want to be. The job outlook, according to the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, is still pretty good for PTAs. There's your median average salary. Again, that's a median. You're not going to come out of school making that much. Just keep that in mind. And it is expected to continue to grow. It is a little challenging right now. There are some changes going on with insurance reimbursement that's affecting physical therapy. COVID is affecting therapy. So we've got a lot kind of going on in healthcare right now. But the fact of the matter is the population is aging and therapy isn't going to go anywhere. People are still going to need treated. People are still going to have injuries and illnesses. And so I think we're here to stay. So. There's just a list of our faculty. As you can see, we have pretty much all PTs and PTAs on staff for the PTA program. It is all PTs and PTAs. And actually 1, 2, 3, 4 of the faculty members are graduates of this very program. So these are the required PTA core courses. So these are courses that you have to take here on campus as part of our program. We don't allow transfer credits for these classes just because different things are called different titles at different schools and things like that. And we have very specific material and competencies built into some of our courses. So they're very specific to our program here. Even our anatomy and physiology. So we do make you take A&P here, even if you've taken it somewhere else. It can transfer in as a science class, but you do need to take our anatomy and physiology. We are a little bit more anatomy heavy. We spend a little bit more time on muscles and bones because that's what we spend a lot of our time working with, and a little bit less on the physiology part of it. So ours just has a little bit of a different focus. We do still cover all of the typical things that are covered in an anatomy and physiology course. If you have taken them before, it will only help you. You'll be more prepared as you come into our A&P courses. And then you can see we get into a lot of the PTA classes after that. And there's classes on procedures and modalities and exercise and neurologic rehab, and then some internships at the end as well. For lab, we don't have a dress code at this school, but for lab, we do need you to dress so that you can move around easily and so that we can get to different body parts to do mock treatments. That's what we do. We practice doing treatments in the lab, and you guys will practice on each other. So if we need to be able to get to your knee to measure it or do quad stim, skinny jeans don't work for that. So shorts, t-shirts, comfortable clothing, usually not a problem for most people. Just something that you can kind of move around in and then we can have access to different body parts. There may be times that we do ask you to sort of dress as a professional. Professional dress for a lot of PTAs in the clinic is like khakis and a polo. And so there might be some occasions where you do a presentation or you do a practical exam where you're acting as a PTA that you need to wear the khakis and the polos. We'll let you know about any of those types of things before they happen, but just kind of keep in the back of your mind, you might want to have a polo accessible in your closet somewhere that you can wear. Also footwear. Again, typically in the clinic, sneakers or some sort of sturdy shoe are required, nothing open toe. In the lab, usually it's fine to wear that kind of thing or something you can slip on easily. So attendance, we do take attendance for classes. And right now, a lot of your PTA, any of your lab classes we usually meet for 2 hours at a time. And so if you miss one class, you miss a lot of material. And so it is really important to be at class as much as possible. I mean, we certainly understand that things do come up, illnesses happen, things happen, life happens. And so we just ask that you get in contact with us if you are going to miss a class, if you know ahead of time that you have to miss, if you can talk to us so that we can kind of make up a plan of what we'll do to make sure that you don't fall too far behind with any missed material, that's appreciated. And just, you know, kind of work with us, communicate with us is the biggest thing, and let us know about those things. We're certainly willing to work with you, but we do want you to know that it is really, really important to be in class as much as humanly possible. So this is the grading scale for all your courses. Just know that with all those core courses, so those allied health and PTA classes that were listed earlier on the core courses, you do need to get at least a 77% or a C+ in order to move on to the next class. Our classes are structured in a certain order so that you take one class and that helps prepare you for the next one. And so in order to move on to all of those classes, you do need to have a certain grade in each of those classes. You can earn a lower grade than that, but you won't be able to move on to the other classes until you get that 77% or C+. So you do get one chance to retake any core PTA classes. So if you don't pass the first time, you can retake it up to 3 different courses. You can do that. All of your lab-based courses are going to have competency or practical exams associated with them. So that's skill performance of the different skills that you're going to be learning. You do need to receive an 80% on those in order to pass them. And you do need to pass all of the competencies in a particular class in order to pass that class. Typically, the way things are structured, we will lecture on material, we will go into lab and practice that material. And so you'll be very well prepared before you're tested on the material. And as I mentioned, there are internships built into the program. So there is a 2-week internship that typically happens between your second to last and your last term here on campus. So as Amy mentioned, we go 11 weeks on, 2 weeks off, and just keep cycling through that way. One of those 2-week breaks, again, close to the end of the program, is going to be spent doing a 2-week internship. Then you typically come back for your last term of classes. And then once you're finished up with those classes, you'll go out on your 14 weeks of internship. So it's 2 separate 7-week internships. So 7 weeks at one facility and 7 weeks at another facility to make up 14 weeks in total. We do have a professor on campus in the program, Professor Maggie Wagner, who is in charge of all of our internship placements. So she will start working with you relatively early on in the program to find out some of your preferences, where you live geographically, or where you're going to be looking for internship sites so that she can help coordinate those for you guys. Again, she works primarily to contact the clinics. So when it comes to internship time, the way that the therapy world works is all schools sort of have one person who's designated to do that. And we do that so that, say, Harrisburg Hospital doesn't get a call from 30 students who want to do internships there. So it just is designed to sort of streamline that process. So we do ask that, you know, and we have her go through all the phone calls and contacting the clinics, and she knows who to contact. That's the thing too. She's been doing this for a while. She has a lot of contacts. We have between 150 and 200 contracts with area clinics. So we're pretty well connected in this area. And we are willing to work with you too if you want to establish something new. So we have had students who go out of the area, a little harder now with COVID to travel and come back. But that may be a possibility, hopefully in the future by the time you guys get to internship. So we'll see how things go with that. All right, so again, we're here to help. We're here to answer your questions. Do you guys have any questions for us about anything? Was there anything in chat, Lisa?
Sorry, I was unmuting myself. In the chat, so if you have any questions questions, please put them there. We did have one that she's currently a junior in high school and was wondering if she was going to hack first to do her gen ed, should she fill out the campus interview now?
Yeah, please. Is that Kirsten? Who was that?
It's Greta.
Oh,
I
it's Greta. Hey,
go
Greta.
ahead and do that. And
Yeah, go ahead and please fill it out, Greta. We'll keep the information in there, and then when the time comes, I can actually work with you and help you with classes to take too. So that you know that you're taking the right thing to transfer in, and then I'll just continue working with you. And then if we need to do another campus interview, we can just do something a little more brief the next time around.
And also, as speaking of the interview, there are a couple of you that I don't know what your names are. I did send you a private message, so we can count this as your interview. So if you could either answer us back or drop your name in the chat so we can mark your attendance for you. Also, we have another question here. How can we get the forms for shadowing?
Those come from me. Who said that? I will.
Emily Klinger.
Hi, Emily. I will send those to you then after we hang up. They're just brief forms, and the office that you go to, you kind of write where you were at and when. They fill out a few check marks on you, sign them, and you get it back to me. So I will email those to you.
Sometimes they're attached to an email that Amy has sent you, and when there's attachments on it, every once in a while it might go to your spam or junk because it's an EDU address. So if that happens or you're looking for something, just double check there every once in a while because that might happen as well. All right, any other questions, guys?
Now that can't be. That never happens.
You did such a great job.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else, then we will give you back the rest of your day. But if you log off of here and think of something that you have a question on, we're all here to help you. And we will follow up with the recording of this as well in case you need to reference back. So we will be in touch.
Joy, hold on, Lisa. I just saw someone asked a question about free housing. I thought maybe Kelly would want to address that one.
Yep. So the free housing, we're still working out a lot of the details, but we know for sure you will have free housing for your first year. So starting in summer, we would cover the $14.52 of the super suite for summer, fall, winter, and spring. The hope is then you'd be able to renew it for your last year of classes, and that's what they're still working out. But once the contracts are available, I will be emailing those out to you. You would sign the contract saying you understand you have to maintain a 2.0, attend any of the mandatory housing functions, and that we would then cover the housing and you would just be responsible for the utilities and the meal plan.
Thank you, Cal. All right, any other questions? All right, guys, well, we hope to see you on campus very soon, and we look forward to hearing from you. So have a great day.
Oh, there's one more question.
All right.
It's about observation hours.
Okay.
And
do you want to answer that one, Dr. Patterson? I think.
Sure.
Margot, are you a senior right now, or are you still a junior? I know you're muted. I apologize for that. Go ahead, Dr. Patterson. I was just trying to determine the length of time, the time frame that we were looking at.
Right. So really, usually for observation hours, we want them to be within a year of when you're applying. So if you were there and you collected any of those hours within the past year, we can apply them towards your observation hours. We do want you to try to go to at least one more place. So while we do ask everyone to go to 2 facilities, we can count those hours at Dreyer as one of those facilities. And then if you could go get more at another facility.
Okay, and then there was another one that came in on how many total applicants apply to this program out of the 30 that are selected.
People ask me that all the time. It's Gina, I see that's you. It honestly varies. I mean, the thing is, it's hard to say because even if I have 60 applications, that doesn't mean that all those people are actually going to complete all those requirements. Okay. So it it's not like there's 80 people trying to get 30 seats. It may be like 40 some people, honestly, by the end. So what I normally just say to people is just do everything your best. do a good job on your interview, be excited, do a good job on your essay, and just get everything in. And normally it's not a problem. Do you have anything to add to that, Dr. Patterson? You kind of feel?
No, again, it varies from term to term. It is usually a little more popular, I think, in the summer term, just because more people are like graduating, being out of school, getting ready to start then, versus winter or January. But
true. Anybody else?
You have one more question?
I know we're like, bye. If you guys do think of anything, honestly, just shoot me an email, give me a call, text me, whatever.
All right, we do have another question. So if I'm currently a junior, when do you recommend getting the essay done?
So your essay, you don't do until I tell you. So that is, and Kirsten, you jumped in late and you may have missed this part when I said this, honestly. The essay is not a requirement at first. It's after you get all the requirements in, everyone comes in on the same day and does an interview and essay. So you don't have to worry about an essay until I tell you.
Okay. Any other questions? These are great, guys.
Mm-hmm. That's fine with me. Kel, do you see that? Yeah, I can hang on, Vanessa.
Okay, anybody else? All right. Well, then I'm going to try this one more time. I hope you guys have a great day, and we look forward to talking with you all very soon.
Thank you.